Now into part 4, the outpouring. This is the part of the study where we are going to connect to God in prayer. We're going to have a conversation with Him. We're going to pour our hearts out to Him. We're going to spend time talking to Him about what we've discovered. So, in your conversation, tell Him about how this specific part of His nature makes you feel. Be open in this conversation. If this name of his challenged you, like maybe God as judge, that could challenge you. All right, tell him that. If it was a name that comforted you, tell him that too. If you feel like tears are springing forth as you talk to him, let the tears flow. Just have an open, beautiful conversation with the Father about what you've discovered. And in this conversation, I want to encourage you to bring in gratitude and thanksgiving. Thank Him for this name and attribute that you studied. Thank Him because He doesn't change, and His character is the one thing in this world that is truly set in stone. There's just something about Thanksgiving, y'all, that just draws you right to the heart of the Father and connects you with Him. So just have a good time in this section. Take your time with it. Conversate with Him. Pray. Open up your heart to Him and give Him thanks. Step 8 is the share, becoming a witness. Once we have done this study, we are now stewards of the revelations that we've received about God. His character is meant to be a sanctuary for everybody. So we don't want to just put what we've learned in our journal. We want what we've learned to be a gift, and we want to give that gift away. So what we're going to do in this step is we're going to look for somebody who is currently experiencing a drought in the area we've studied. If we've studied God as the provider, Jehovah Jireh, we're going to look for someone who might be anxious about their future or who is struggling maybe in the financial realm. We're going to offer them this truth of God's nature, not as a lecture, but as a warm invitation to find rest in who He is. So we're going to find a family member, a friend, a coworker, somebody we know, or we can find a stranger, you guys. We have the Holy Spirit living inside of us. He knows every single person that currently exists and will exist on this earth. All right, we can ask Him, God, show me somebody, a stranger, somebody I don't know, who you know needs to hear about you as provider. Maybe you're going to the grocery store. Lord, before I step into this grocery store, highlight somebody to me, one of your image bearers that may be anxious about provision right now, and they need to know, God, that you are stepping in as provider. Maybe God will even have you bless that person and pay for their groceries that day, right? And so go in with an open heart and listen for God speak to you about who's in that store. And He might speak to you in different ways. Maybe you walk past somebody and then there's just like a stirring in your gut and you're like, oh, I know that's the one. Or maybe you walk past somebody and then as you're continuing to shop, you just keep seeing that person in your mind, like a picture of them. That might be God highlighting them to you. Or maybe you're walking by and you overhear a conversation they're having on the phone. Maybe they're talking right then about like, man, I don't know how I'm going to pay for all these groceries. And you're like, oh, that's you speaking, God. That's the person I'm going to talk to. And then you just you go in and be bold and be courageous and just start a conversation. It doesn't have to be coming in hot. Hey, you know, God's a provider. That might be weird or awkward, okay? Just go in your natural personality. You can start by maybe giving them a compliment. Um, hey, I love your shirt, or oh, I love that hat you're wearing. open up the doorway to a conversation. Okay. God will bring the words organically through you. All you have to do is give him your little yes. For some of you, it's easy to just go out there and be bold. For some of you, it's not. Like for me, doing this, and I'm preaching to myself, y'all, is a hard thing. I have a whole story I could share with y'all, but I won't take up all that time. But yesterday I had an encounter with a woman at a store because I went in that store asking God to highlight somebody that he wanted to to see that day. He wanted them to know they were seen. Elroy, that's the name. Elroy, the God who sees us. I was like, Lord, somebody needs to be seen. Highlight somebody to me. And it was a whole process, y'all. I was scared. I found somebody, I followed her, then I ran away, and then I followed her again, and I ran away again, and then I followed her again, and then she was on her phone, so then I gave up. And then it's this whole process. But finally, in the end, I was just like, hey, excuse me. And I walked up to her. And I noticed something about her, so that's what I brought up. And it led into a whole conversation, y'all, of weeping and tears and praising God and prayer right up in this store because God singled her out and he wanted to let her know she was seen. So I just want to encourage you all, whether it's a friend, whether it's a stranger, just share this with God, or share this, what you've learned about God, with somebody as part of this step. Our last and final step, step 9, the response and offering of the heart. All right, y'all, this is an optional step. Some of you might finish at step 8, being a witness. All right, this step is for anyone that feels moved um, to pour out more than just words on a paper. This is for those that want to have the Spirit move through you creatively to seal up what you've learned. So, some options here are storytelling. You could write a narrative from the perspective of a Bible character who encountered this name and attribute or attribute. You can write a poem or compose a song that captures the sound of this name or attribute. Or you could do some type of visual art, sketch, paint, or create a digital image that represents the weight and beauty of this name and attribute. So, this step, the sky is the limit. Whatever you feel moved to do, however you feel to respond creatively with what you've learned, pour it out. All right, family. So this concludes our I Am Bible study. I hope you guys enjoy it. I would love to hear about what you're learning through this study. And as always, you know, I like to provide example studies. And so I will have a link below where you can download an example of a study I completed going through this process. All right. Can't wait to hear from you.